We'll continue with those question answers which we had left last time. Few are still to be addressed, answered. And a couple of them more I have received, but let's see. So we are blessed and feel gratified that we have got an opportunity to be a beneficiary for this Gnana Ganga, the flow of knowledge. And we are indebted to you and the whole teaching tradition for this knowledge. In spite of you being so busy, you have been sparing time and with selflessly, with a lot of patience and commitment and with a lot of connotations and references in a unique method you teach us. So it's very matter of proud for us. This is in Gujarati, I'm translating it, okay, online. Now the question is, I've been trying sincerely for Shravan Manan Nididhyasanam, what you have been teaching. But whatever karma we do, it should be with Ishvara Buddhi, total surrender. And we should accept every situation with open heart. I'm trying to do that. But then the flesh floods or the floods of the thoughts are not in my control. So please guide me. I do appreciate your sincerity, and it's again a blessings that you are so committed to this Shastra. You want to get an opportunity to study is a blessing, and to commit oneself totally to this is also another blessings, that you have a mindset to do that. So you are gifted and blessed, and I am happy about it. Another thing, what you have asked, you have been trying to own up the attitude of karma yoga in your day-to-day life. But the endless thoughts sort of deviates you from Ishvararpa Buddhi and accepting the karma phala. That's okay. You cannot accept because we have our own views. Certain things we cannot accept because of our subjectivity, our likes and dislikes, our values, our ideal for successful living, etc., etc. Slowly you have to process it out. It's a slow process. It's not going to happen in a day or two. Because those raga dveshas will resist. Your personal values will resist. Your picture of successful living will resist. And that's where you feel there is a thoughts are obstructing my attitudes. That's okay. You have to slowly address your mind about it. And try to compare yourself or try to look back at the past and see how you have been benefited so far. We have those likes and dislikes or insistences to be done this way and that way, not to do this way, not to do that way, etc. Because we think this will make us happy. We think this would be good for us. But then what was ultimately good for us, we never knew it. Those unseen hands of Ishvara in the form of grace brought you to this teaching tradition, brought you to Swamiji, brought you to Shastra, and gave you that mindset to study, gave you that Adi Bhautika situations to study. There is a grace flowing. try to recollect that grace, that I have been beneficiary of tremendous grace all these years. So even today I feel it's improper, or I may not like something, or I cannot accept. When you can't accept, that means you have resistance, and your resistance is based on your likes and dislikes. And your likes and dislikes are based on your own subjective picture. That being the case, remember what you were, what you thought yourself to be, and now where you are brought to. The grace is flowing, and the unseen hands are protecting you. Unseen hands are leading you to Paramapurushartha. They have brought you this much. So even if you don't like something, even if you feel that is something which is unpleasant for you, it seems to you that it may cause some problems to you in future, but the grace is flowing to you, which has brought you to this moksha marga. So Bhagavan will take care of it. This is how you have to see Ishvara in your life, whereby you learn to accept the karma phala. Seeing Ishvara or living in the awareness of Ishvara, it is one thing to see him as a karma phal data, karma adhyaksh, etc., etc. And if you can own that up, there's nothing like it. If you can't own it up, see his role in your past, what all he did for you. See Ishvara's grace that brought you to this, which you never imagined that you would get this. Somehow you have led to this, and thereby you can see Ishvara in your life. When you see that, you can accept this karma phala as it is. So also the situation. A given situation is nothing but manifestation of Ishvara, who is in the form of order, karma phala, karma adhyaksha. He has brought this situation to you, and in that situation, you are expected to do certain things. You are expected to respond. That becomes your duty. Perform it as an offering to Ishvara. Bhagavan wants me, so I am doing it for the sake of Bhagavan. I think that will help you. Okay. And this last question, which last time I left this, I had heard someone saying Sakama Karma Yoga. What is it? Which Shastra has reference to it? The Pramanam for Karma Yoga is Vedas. Okay. And Pramanam for Karma Yoga is more vividly talked in our Bhagavad Gita. That's Karma Yoga told in that. Now, Karma Yoga is neither Sakama nor Nishkama. Karma Yoga is yoga of your attitude. Connecting a given attitude, uniting a given attitude in karma. And at two levels. The attitude while performing the karma, while responding to the situation, and the attitude when you receive the karma phala. And that attitude is born of understanding certain facts. Attitude should be based on facts. It should be factual attitude. If simply you impose upon yourself certain attitudes, it will not last long. Therefore, this positive thinking doesn't last much long. You have to understand certain facts. Facts about Ishvara. Facts about the order. If you understand that fact, if you understand that order, you can see Ishvara as karma adhyaksha, you see Ishvara as karma phal data, and accept it as prasada, and accept it as Ishvarecha, what you are expected to do, and perform that. Okay? This is I guess this so-called Sakam Karma Yoga is a word maybe somebody has coined himself or herself, because there is no Nishkam Karma Yoga. There is a popular belief that you should be Nishkami. You should have no desires, you know, and without any expectation. Perform your karmas without any expectation. That's what they call it, Nishkama Karma Yoga. But we have seen in Upadesh Saram that so-called Nishkama Karma is not possible. Karma Yoga is given to a fellow who is ignorant. And the fellow, when fact that the person is ignorant, that means he has a karma. So he or she would be Sakamis. And then there is no Nishkam Karma Yoga possible. Wise person is free from all kamas. Rajahati yada kaman sarvan partha manogatan atmannevatmana tushtaha sthita pragnastadochyate. So for a wise person, there is no need for Karma Yoga. And it's not there because he is free from it. The purpose of the Karma Yoga of that to gain a necessary frame of mind, Shuddha Antakaranam, and the purpose of gaining Shuddha Antakaranam is to gain knowledge. Having gained knowledge, the purpose is fulfilled. So there is no Karma Yoga for a wise person. It is for otherwise only. And the otherwise can never be Nishkami. If you are ignorant, Kamnas will be there. Freedom from all desires is only gained by gaining the knowledge. Atmanneva atmanastushtaha tasmat prajahati sarvan kaman tasmat siddha prajna tada uchyate. Okay? We will see what is freedom from desire. When we'll discuss some other thing. We have seen that in Upadesh Saram. However, in some other context, I will discuss it. But somehow this term, Nishkam Karma Yoga, is very popular. So they have a word called Sakam Karma Yoga. But there is no Sakama. Agnani is Sakami. Okay? And you cannot work without any expectations. They call this Nishkama. Work to act without any expectations is Nishkam Karma Yoga, they say. But then there is nobody who can be Nishkami because you cannot act without any expectations. We have seen that earlier. That I am acting without expectation itself is an expectation. I have no expectation, that is expectation. So, Karma Yoga is an attitude. I can still explain the word Sakama Karma Yoga, though I don't agree with that, okay? I won't subscribe to that word. You would have, I'm sure you must not have heard from my mouth all these times, and you have been listening to me for last 3 years. Never ever have used this word. Still help you to explain. Sakama Karma Yoga means when there is a desire prompted action. And when the karma phala comes, accept it with a prasada bhakti. That is Sakama Karma Yoga. Okay? You have a desire to be happy, desire to achieve something, desire to feel more secure, desire to get rid of certain unhappiness, and prompted by that desire, when you pursue something, that becomes Sakama Karma. You can say this. As I repeat, I don't subscribe this. Namaste, Pujya Swamiji. Question. After study of Vedanta, we know that ultimate reality and the truth is Brahman, and to know yourself, then why so much of stress on experience of various lokas by performing stipulated rituals as mentioned in Mundak Upanishad? It doesn't say that you perform. Mundaka doesn't say. The purpose of Mundaka Upanishad on talking elaborately about all these lokas is to show you their limitations, to tell us that this will not give me permanent, lasting fullness. That's all the purpose is. These lokas may look insignificant to us, but it is like somebody offering you a ticket, business class or first class ticket, round trip to US, North America, US, Canada, etc. Another round trip to South America, etc. Free ticket, and then all these advertisement brochures, tourism brochures that you feel like going. So also those days, these lokas, people felt like going to those lokas, and therefore it is again and again told that nasti akrutaha krutena. Okay? All the discussion was meant only to bring home the point. Any achievement in terms of time and place with the help of karma will be, since it is born, since it is gained, since it is achieved at a time T1, it will go away at time T2. It will end at time T2. It will not be permanent, however enchanting it may look, however fulfilling it may appear to be, however satisfying or gratifying it may seem to be, but that no way it can give me permanent happiness, limitless happiness. In other words, it can never ever give me moksha. That is a tatpari. Okay? So, it is not the stress. You can say the emphasis is given to make the vairagya fall, to gain the clarity about the means and the ends. And what is the clarity? That what I am seeking can never ever be achieved by any means or through any end. That's all. Means can be laukikam or alaukikam, and can be laukikam or alaukikam. Any achievement here through the known means can never give me limitless happiness. Any achievement hereafter through unknown means that are talked about in Vedas, and I work for them, but then I can never ever achieve this. What? That limitless happiness, that limitless fullness, that limitless contentment that I have been seeking can never ever be achieved. That should be clear, and to make that clarity, to give that clarity, it is being talked again and again. Okay? Shruti is kind enough to emphasize the sadhana. Shruti is pramanam for sadhya, namely the knowledge. Pramanam to reveal Brahman, that is pratipadyam. And Shruti is pratipadaka. Through teacher, it reveals knowledge. That is a tatparyam. But then, more often than not, this teaching, pramana doesn't work. Why? Pramana, if it is a pramana, it must work. It's the nature of it. Moment I open the eyes, I see. One should see, immediately one should see. But here it doesn't work because of lack of preparedness. Primarily, you can say lack of vairagya. So, Shruti again and again helps us to prepare our mind so that The operation of pramana fructifies. So the pramana vyapara falavad bhavati. When you use the means of knowledge, the result of it, namely the knowledge, and the result of the knowledge, that aham purna, sense of fullness, sense of self-satisfaction, sense of self-contentment, sense of self-happiness is gained. That is why this is true. Okay? Listen this. Pramanam is pratyaksha phalam and immediate phalam. Any means of knowledge would give knowledge immediately when the means of knowledge is being operated. Like even nowadays, when you go to restaurant, they make sure that the aroma of the kitchen comes to the dining area. That aroma, they say certain smell should be there. Deliberately they make it so that your appetite is increased. You fall in love with the food that you have, there is expectancy to see that food. Moment that aroma comes out, whatever the cook is cooking or frying, whether you call aroma or stink, whatever it is, because for a vegetarian person, the smell of a fish that is being fried, it calls for Ramdev's immediate attention. Some pranayamas you have to learn then. You remember, I should have learned some pranayamas. Or in the flight, even, when you have somebody eating, in the flight itself, they sometimes serve which give rise to certain aroma, fragrance in the cabin. Even if you are in a business class, you don't like that, though there is a space around between the two passengers, but the smell is too much there. Anyway, so that is subjective, one's preference and all, whatever. Moment there is a smell, you pick up immediately if nose is working. Moment you see the form or a color, you pick up immediately if the eyes are working. So knowledge is immediate. When the means of knowledge are operated, immediately knowledge should take place. That doesn't happen here. Though we keep telling that Vedanta is a means of knowledge, Vedanto Nama Upanishad Pramanam, and that too if one has a very competent teacher, Shrotriya Brahmanishta Acharya is there to teach. In spite of such teacher, teaching so vividly, it doesn't come. One may get some glimpse about it, but cannot hold on. Swamiji, your class was, let me use this American, awesome, awesome. Indians will say, Swamiji, it was a great class. Indians have this adjective, great class. American is awesome. Awesome. That's all they say. Not awesome also. It was awesome. So clear, Swamiji. But could not hold on. It became clear that Aham Brahmasmi. But moment the class got over and I got involved into my daily chore or something, that Brahman got evaporated. Or the dampness of the monsoon season, the knowledge became dampened. That is because the preparedness is missing. As they say in Gujarati, they have said, there is a saying, proverb in Gujarati, you milk a cow and a buffalo and goat and all these domesticated animals. When you milk them, you take the milk in any steel or vessel, some vessel, metal vessel. But they say, there is a saying in Gujarati, to hold the milk of lioness, you need a golden vessel. સિંહણનું દૂધ ઝીલવા માટે સોનાનું વાસણ જોઈએ. That's all they say. મને પ્રશ્ન છે, કોણે દોઈતી સિંહણ? એ તો મને કયો. Who dared to milk the lioness when she has the cubs around? But anyway, there is a saying. This is all called non-verifiable beliefs, you know. You cannot verify that you can't hold the lioness milk except when the vessel should be of gold, you know. They say that. Anyway, when the vessel is not ready, you cannot hold it. You know, it is exactly like saying, my example, you know, this new couple, medico fellows, went to villages, you know, town, small village, and suddenly joined the NGO to do some seva. At all, it was a government hospital, there will be some taluk level hospital. They went straight to village and then hired a house and then started, and then there was no gas pipeline. Nowadays, India is getting that. And so they had to have those chullas, you know, those fire. You have to light up the fire, coal and charcoal and wood, and they have to do this. He got up in the morning, habitually he had a habit of reading the newspaper. That it was such a remote place, no newspaper would come. So he had brought with him those Times of India for last 2 days and 3 days, and he started reading. And she got up and said, let's make tea. And then the fire, she could not light the fire. So she told him that, get me some fire from the neighbors. Doctor Sahib, this fellow went, give me some burning charcoals or some fire. The lady says, have you brought some vessel to carry this? He was wearing typical jeans, and the back pocket he had that newspaper. He opened the newspaper and give me inside this. I'll carry on this newspaper. Even if she gives, by the time it turns and just take 2 steps, it falls down. You cannot hold it. If it was New York Times, he may hold up to his door, but it may not go up to the kitchen. So, knowledge, one cannot hold the knowledge. That is 2 reasons. One is a modern reason, my interpretation, lack of preparedness and absence of way of life. With all humility and respect, I am telling you, you all have little disadvantageous lifestyle. This knowledge calls for sannyasa. Sannyasa means only one objective, only one agenda, only one thing to do, to own up the knowledge. But when you are in a grihastha, there are so many duties to be performed. There is a pressure of time-bound work to be done. There is a pressure to perform, and that thing doesn't let you have that leisure, inner leisure, to reflect upon, to think over again and again over the knowledge, and thereby own up the knowledge. So, that being the case, when the mind is still not ready, both ways, internally and externally, one cannot hold the knowledge. And there is a feeling, I must do this. It is vairagya, means absence of phalasakti, true, but absence of karma sakti as well. No insistences, no attachment to do this way only. That's a problem with perfectionist people. It's a problem when you want the best. And then you develop a system and you want everybody to follow that system because you got the best. No, there is no asakti. I have space within to give space to others. The way they live, I have space. So Vairagya is absence of raga for karma phala as well as karma. A typical Indian senior citizen holds on to the home for karma. I have to upbring my grandchildren. I have to be there, the self-appointed. I have to take care of them. All kinds of things is there. So that being the case, that is lack of vairagya, and to emphasize vairagya, to show the need for vairagya, then the pramana works like this. It did work for Nachiketa. He heard it and he could see the truth. So, lokas are talked about, not lokas are talked about. Limitations of these achievements is discussed, so that the vairagya becomes firm and firm. Hari Om Swamiji, sometimes it becomes hard to focus on Brahman when everyone around you constantly makes you feel down. It becomes very hard to ignore such thing. How to better prepare for such situation? You see, what is raga? Nowadays, there is one common word, very popular, often used, empowering. Empowering women, empowering children, empowering the staff, etc. What is raga? Raga is empowering the padarthas. There are objects in the world called padartha. Padasya artham padartha. There are different objects. When you empower that object, then it becomes Vishaya. See, in English there is only one word, objects. We have two words, Padartha and Vishaya. Visinoti badnati iti Vishaya. That it bounds you. If that is what binds you, that I want this. Without will I am unhappy. With that I am happy. That means there is a raga. That raga is vyaktinistha. Raga is centered on person, not the object. Same object can make one person happy, same object can make another person unhappy, and third may be indifferent. To give the capacity to an object to make you happy or unhappy is empowering the object. That is raga. It is a fact. What? That some situations, some objects can make you comfortable. But that comfort only means happiness. Comfort means only happiness. That means you are empowering the objects. What are you empowering? Empowering them to make you happy and unhappy. How do you empower? By your own subjective perception about that padartha. In our Shastric jargon, we call it because of ragadvesh. Okay? Similarly, in our life, please learn this. That's how I live myself, and I'm still living. We empower people around you, us, whose opinion counts you so much. Their statements matter you so much. If they praise you, you become happy. And if they don't, you become unhappy. That means that there are few people, a small group of people who are very important for you, for your self-judgment, for your self-estimation, for your self-acceptance. You are empowering them. And when you don't have self-esteem, when you don't have self-acceptance, you become unhappy. And when you have esteem, you become happy. So you are empowering certain persons in your life to make you happy and unhappy. Why? You grow big. There were some people in your life in the past whom you had empowered. And that circle being gone, you are independent of them. At every level of your material growth, that external growth, there were certain people who valued you so much, whose opinion it made your difference in your perception about yourself. And you always look forward to some positive or some encouraging, good feedback from them. That's what people complain with each other. You have no value for me. I have been doing all this for you all these years, but you never praised me. This was an opportunity when you should have said few good words about me, but you never say it so. Why you empower? And thus people, when in the office some colleague or some friends praises the person feels so happy and falls for that guy. You always taken me for granted. I did so much for you. Correct? I appreciate that you loved the person and you cared the person and you took upon yourself the duty to do the things, fine. But why you require his or her certificate? Look at Ishwara's certificate. Think of your Guru's certificate. Why you want this person? And when they don't appreciate you, you feel hurt. That means you are empowering others to make you happy and happy. I am not saying that you ignore them. But then you should know what is to be done. I have done this. There is no omissions and commissions on my part, and therefore there is no hurt and guilt. Full stop. Why give so much of importance to this person? I tell you, as you grow, all those comments doesn't matter to you. And after some time, they themselves will stop talking about you. They will realize, oh, this fellow is too big for us to comment. I go through this every year. Now I keep growing in working. Every time there are some people who are of our level or little low, so they keep talking all odd things about us. I don't look at it. I'm busy in doing what is to be done. As they say in Gujarati, આપણી લાઈન લાંબી કર્યા જ કરવાની. પેલા લાંબી ગણે કે ના ગણે. Whether they consider you to be that you are light means you keep extending keep growing. Whether they see the growth or not, you should see the growth. And when you see your growth, be happy. Why bother? Unnecessary, don't empower people to make you unhappy. Don't impute extra value on them, and thereby their words affect you. No, just leave it. Keep doing what is to be done and focus on moksha purushartha. You keep growing. And when you keep growing, they become insignificant. Whole world is tucham, mithya. Not tucham, but mithya. That people saying, they around you are constantly makes you feel down. You are so big that nobody can make you down. You are untouchably big. I'm not telling in the sense of that untouchability. You are so big that nobody can touch you. You are a Purna. Why give importance to these petty things? That's what I see in modern times. Modern children and youth become happy for insignificant thing and become unhappy equally for insignificant. Some video game they are playing and they score more, they get so ecstatic. Oh, what's a big deal about it? Or some achievement or appreciation, somebody gives them bouquet of flowers and some, he remembered in my birthday and blah, blah, blah. They become unhappy if you don't wish them on birthday. People tell me also, Swamiji, you don't remember my birthday. I said, I wish you don't have birthday. But that's what I am working for it. That there is no birthday. But they get hurt. You don't mean anything, then but still they feel hurt. Why you are empowering small things? Getting a flight or missing a flight makes you so much. Getting a desired seat and not getting them makes so happy and unhappy. Why you empower people? Don't look at them. Commit to dharma, what is there for you, and perform your dharma as an offering to Ishvara. That person is incidental beneficiary. If you value this person, given person so much, then he or she or his or her words will make you happy and unhappy. Oh, little harsh it may look to you, but all the relatives in our life are fellow passengers. Swami Dayanji very nicely used to say, marriage is a means, not an end in itself. Don't look at the relationship as an end in itself. Every relation is a means for your growth. They are meant to use it that way. When you look upon them as an end in itself, then there is a possibility of all kinds of hurt and happiness. It's okay. There are always will be there. Why you value them so much? Why you give so much of importance? Let them say. And little abstract I talk. What they are telling you feeling down. They are telling something bad about your physio-psycho complex, which anyway you are not. What doshas they are talking about, they are only about physio-psycho complex, which is anatma. On the contrary, you should join them. Yes, yes, you are right. I am like this. This body is like this mind is like this. And enjoy it. What's a big deal about it? Let them say. True, sometimes it becomes too much boggling of on and like cranky children. Then they develop some space. Sometimes you have to have physical space. That's okay. I can appreciate if it is too bad. Though you may be indifferent to them. But constant nagging and disturbances, then have some space. Simple as that. It is hard to ignore. The person says it becomes very hard to ignore such things because the imputation of value to them is so much in your subjective perception. Subjectively, you have given them so much of importance that you can't ignore them. You see, remember this Yavaraja Vakya, Balaha. We have seen in Mundak Upanishad also. They are Balaha. Immature people who can't see your worth, who can't see your commitment to dharma and moksha, they make you feel down. That is often out of their insecurity or their jealousy. Sometimes this happens in the spouse also. She develops her own goal, he or she, whoever, and she commits slowly. Person becomes independent. One of them has started becoming independent. The other person has not grown. He or she needs that person. Because that is a crutch. With that person being like a crutches to him or her, he or she felt secure or happy with that crutches, and therefore it wants that. That person is into Shastra and Satsanga and all that. That being a case, that time there is a pain, hidden pain out of lack of growth. They keep hurting you deliberately, unknowingly. There's unconscious problem. If that is the case, help your spouse or partner to expose himself or herself to Shastras. They feel lost. Sometimes they may feel lonely also, because they always wanted the crutches, support. And this person lived in such a way that he or she was giving that support all the time. And now slowly the support is withdrawn. I'm talking of emotional support, companionship supports. And that makes that person very insecure or uncomfortable. And out of insecurity or discomfort, psychological discomfort, seeking a companion because it needs emotionally. He or she may be doing this. There is a possibility of like this. Please look into the person who has asked the question. If that is the case, you may assure that person that they feel alienated, sense that you are left out. Assure them you are not left out. This is my priority and I am working on it. And help that person to be independent. His or her emotional dependency or companionship dependency might be the reason for pulling you all the time, constantly letting you to make you feel down. That may be reason. Hari Om Swamiji, since this knowledge is offered in such simple and concise terms, Tattvamasi, and offered repeatedly, then why aren't we, into bracket, me at least, with a cat face, there yet? Why aren't we there yet? What's missing? How will we know when we do finally realize and internalize this knowledge? First of all, don't say why I am not there. Na atmanam avasare. Fact that you are brought to this knowledge, Ishvara knows better. What you know about yourself, more than that, Bhagavan knows about yourself. So Bhagavan has brought you to this knowledge. That means you are meant to be there first. You are cut out to be there. Like that you just don't know, like that crazy ride, somehow you'll ended up here. Think of yourself at the age of 5, a boy or a girl, playing with the friends and toys and going, in school and university, and something that you get to knowledge. So you are there, meant to be there first. Have that confidence. I am meant here to be there first. Secondly, offered in simple and concise terms, that is true, and offered repeatedly. I have told this earlier also. Though we are gifted with a tradition of teaching, methodology of teaching, and we are gifted with a teacher who could still put it so simplified way, because he himself had that profundity. When you have profundity, you can make it simple sometimes. Some do not, but simple. And I was gifted to capture the tradition, methodology. That is another gift Bhagavan gave me. But it is little not difficult, but time taking. Okay? Momentarily you may feel, I am there in the class. But as I said, you cannot hold on to that fire. You cannot. It is very, very subtle. And it is a process of growth. Like a bird in the night, it opens up throughout the night slowly. Then only the beauty and the fragrance comes out. It is a slow process. Okay? Accept this. Remember this equation. Bhagavad Gita was taught by Lord Krishna himself. And Arjuna was a person whom Bhagavan certifies that you have a clean heart. In Gita there is a word. You are a very clean-hearted person. Bhagavan certifies that you are a bhakta. Two things. Twice there is a mention. And third thing, he was an archer of that time. Most accomplished archer. So to learn the archery and shoot, and he must have done so much of tapas to get those mantras, siddhi. So he must have had a lot of concentration. You don't become overnight. So that Arjuna, we keep calling Arjuna, 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 but he must be a great person. Whom Bhagavan himself says you are bhakta, whom Bhagavan himself says later on you have a clean heart, and who was an archer, so the best archer of that time, with Ashtrasastra Vidya. Still, when we study Gita, and there are some questions and doubts which Arjuna had, and you feel this is so clear when Swamiji explained the second chapter, where is the need of third chapter? But they were there. At least I would confess, I was not like Arjuna anyway. Any which way nearer to him also, when I started the course. And you better confess that in spite of that that student being Arjuna, it took 17 chapters. What was to be said has been said in the very second chapter. Gita should have been over. Not even second chapter. In between, Shankaracharya writes, Kaschid arthataha, kaschid shabdataha punarukti. There is a repetition of the meaning and repetition of the words even. But durbodhatvat vastuna. The vastu is very subtle, difficult to comprehend, and having comprehended, very difficult to hold on. That being a case, Bhagavan keeps on repeating. And the repetition is a dosha. But still, in Shastra study for a teacher, repetition is not a dosha, is a blessing. That Arjuna took 18 chapters. And you should acknowledge, I confess that I am not like Arjuna. And you have two disadvantages. That he was taught by original Paramatma. This is not original Paramatma. Even this is a replica of Paramatma or duplicate. Original Paramatma, Sarvagna, Sarvashaktiman taught him. And still it took time. It will take time. Just take it easy. Like Americans, be cool. Just be cool. Don't get so. I mean, I really appreciate your sincerity and your urge, that burning desire to gain that knowledge and own up. But that's fine. In the sixth chapter, twice it tells, Mahata Kale. It takes time. There is a mention in Mahabharata also. Though Arjuna said at the end of the chapter, Nashto, 18th chapter, Nashto Moha Smriti Labdha Karishe Vachanantava, I'm clear. But still he had some doubts later on. Still he could not hold on to or live up to the wisdom that he had gained. There was a pratibandhaka of viparita bhavana. There was a pratibandhaka of samshaya. So doubts will be there. And as I said this, I know it's painful. Your lifestyle is one of the major hindrances. Just when this is over, take a camp. Come here and study for a week. You will see a new person within yourself. The daily chore, pressure to survive, pressure to achieve, pressure to do this in this way only and not this way, etc., takes away the inner leisure. Once you have that inner leisure, you can clarify the doubts and own up the knowledge. And that's why they say sannyasa is necessary. Theoretically, in a grahastha, it is possible. But it is like a diversion. Long route takes time. Nothing bad. No, don't take it anything bad or good. Its only thing is it demands the person. It demands the time. It demands your resources. It demands your attention. And that being the case, one may not have enough time or enough leisure to expose to Shastra. Okay? So you'll be there, internalize the knowledge. Please try to write notes. From a habit to things, do some japa regularly. Take mantra and do japa 1 hour or because puja would be difficult. I don't know whose question is, though I have some presumptions who has asked, but I may be wrong. Looking to your background, you may not have mantra, etc. Take some mantra. And living in Western world, puja would be difficult. To get puja dravyas and clean the vessels and do it. If you can do it, then that is good. Religious life should be part of our daily grahastha life. If you are a sannyasi, then also there is something, japa, which sannyasi is to do. So, do some japa, if not puja. And what you learn in the class, just gather the whole class in your mind and write it down. That is called writing the notes. In your own words, with your own examples, write it down. Then you may see the truth of it. And read sometimes. That will help you. Form a habit of listening this talk again. Even though you studied Tattvavada, start from there. Every time you listen, since you have gained, because of Shravanam, you gain more subtlety. And because of subtlety, when you listen again, you see something more. Every time I listen to Puja Swamiji, I found few things that I missed last time. Same thing, kept listening the Shastra. Even in an example, Even in his own stories, I felt that this is, oh, last time I didn't see this point in his own stories. So please do that. You will be there. Okay? Namaste. Om Purnamadah Purnamidham Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnamevavashishyate Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Guru Pyo Namaha Harihi Om